Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is David Murphy with my co-host, brother Satawi Jahi, Mr. Onri Hector.
How you doing?
And it's always a pleasure being here, there and everywhere, really at my age. But, again, it's truly a blessing to be on these airways tonight. And it's a blessing to share information with you, for you, about you. Just call in, or you can come in on your computer. Let your friends and family know, because it's open discussion. We keep it real. With that being said, I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Satawi Jahi.
There's a reason for everything. Quote, I am now on the road to success, happiness, and abundance. All traffic goes my way. Unquote. Johnny Coleman, pastor, Christ Universal Truth Center. Do you ever wonder what you are doing here? Have you ever pondered if you have a purpose to live in? Do you believe in destiny? And if there's a plan for your life, where did it come from? You do have a purpose here, and it is a good one. Your sojourn has not been cast upon by some outside agent who dispassionately chose to say. You choose your mission in life and will live it. Gwendolyn Brooks, the widely read educator and poet, wrote words that would give anyone pause. Quote, I believe the purpose of life is to give us a greater realization of spiritual consciousness, something broader and more meaningful than materialism. None of us knows what lies ahead. The important thing is to use today as widely as possible and face tomorrow eagerly and carefully knowing that we will be equal to the task, unquote. The goal of life is to find your life's purpose and thus light a path to future generations that will guide men and women toward the treasures that really matter. Peace of mind, health, and energy, loving relationships, financial independence, sense of personal fulfillment, worthy goals and ideals. We cannot help but notice the two
Muted.
themes that border all of life. The first is that you can achieve as much success as you desire, providing
Unmuted.
you combine your natural, God-given talents with newly acquired knowledge and are determined to pay the price for success. The second is that there will be no success without a purpose. Today I will be pleased with what I have accomplished today and be mindful of my goals. That is our reading for today here on February the 3rd. Hope everybody's doing fine, everybody's doing great, and we're excited about being able to share this podcast with y'all. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to our other co-host, Mr. Onri Hector. Andre, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mrs. Satawi Jahi. And hello, David Murphy. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well, and yourself, sir?
I'm doing good. Black History Month. What a month. It's good to be back. Welcome, everybody. We're broadcasting live, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. That's what we're doing. My name is Onri Hector. I'm from the Onri Hector Show. And we have a guest tonight. This time, this gentleman here, second time coming in onto the show. Last time on the show, about maybe 2 weeks ago, this gentleman, we was talking about the topic of conflict resolution. And we decided that we wanted to do it again. We wanted to do a part 2 of conflict resolution because we realized that it's going to take more than just one episode to get the issue across. So I want to quickly introduce our person for tonight. This young man is an entrepreneur. He's also the CEO and the founder of Engage Baltimore. And he has he's providing conflict resolution-based services, pretty much that strengthens the family to enhance the communities, and not only that, but to enhance the quality of our life. Before devoting his focus to Engage Baltimore, this gentleman has served in various capacities within the area of conflict resolution, dispute resolution, all types of resolution. And he's here to give his word to Baltimore, across the nation, even tonight here on this podcast. And again, we're dealing with different topics, but one of the things that we're going to focus on tonight is focusing on the black man in the community, dealing with especially fathers. I think we need to focus on that tonight, dealing with fathers and how to be responsible in that area. Mr. Brandon Booth is, again, the founder of the CEO of Engage Baltimore. And I would like to introduce to you him right now tonight. He's on the air. Hello, Brandon Booth.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Hector? How you doing, fellas? It's good to be here.
It's good to have you, Brandon Booth. I mean, last week or the other week, we definitely we hammered it, we chopped it up, and we talked about some various issues, some serious issues that is affecting our community, and we're looking for solutions. And people are listening live all over Facebook and Instagram. So it's good to have you on again. I'm glad that you're here, and we need to get right to it. I know you have a limited time, and I just thank you for coming aboard. So let's just get into it. Let's talk about some of the issues that are at hand. I mean, one of the issues that, again, that we're dealing with is the intense killing, the homicide rate. I think last year we spoke about that. We went into about 300 plus killings, which made it a record high. We're now number one in the nation. What is your take on that? And as you view it as it is, what is your take on that? And then can we come up with some solutions? And who could be responsible for this?
That's a very loaded question, but I'm glad I'm here to get into it, and I have you brothers to bounce this off with me, man. So let's get into it. For me, I would say that it's tragic, and what's happening in our city right now is nothing short of, if I can use this word, an abomination. You have young men, young women being extinguished, lives being snuffed out way too soon. And I think that is an abomination, and it's a tragedy because you have a lot of fathers and mothers that are burying their children. And as we know, that should never be.
That's right.
I think that in terms of where we are as a city right now, honestly, I would say that trauma is one of the number one issues that I'll just say black men and black men in our community are facing. A lot of us have experienced traumatic things from our childhood, as we were adolescents, as we became young men, and even as now as we are full adults, that we don't really get the opportunity to get healing from, to express how that trauma affects us, and also how that trauma affects the people around us. And so what happens is you have hurt people that are now hurting people because their mental health is not in order, and also they may be in an unstable situation. And so when you have a congruence of factors like failing mental health, like an inadequacy to fully heal from certain traumatic experiences that happen from your childhood on up to your adulthood, and then you compound that with not being able to have access to jobs or living wages that would help feed a family, all those things kind of combine to a cauldron and a boiling pot, and that boiling pot right now is definitely Baltimore City.
That's true. That's definitely correct. There's a breaking point. There comes a point where you just had enough. And everybody that's listening out there, we can agree that we have come to a point where enough is enough. We're dealing with
Absolutely.
On senseless crime across Baltimore. I had a cousin who just passed away a few weeks ago. He was killed.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Derek Strickland was the brother to man, I forgot his name. My mind is all over the place right now. His brother was shot over in East Baltimore by what's the area called? I think it was Walbrook Junction. He was running out the alley, and a report said that he got shot in the head. His brother Derek was getting gas, and as he was getting gas and finishing up, he came out the gas station. He noticed that there was a body on the ground. He recognized the clothes. He went over there to identify it was his brother. And now that we're dealing with that situation to this day, a mother who lost their son, I believe he was 24, 25 years old, lost to a senseless violence. Who knows what was going on that night, you know? And, man, I'm still messed up about it. And this is something that we're dealing with, everybody, you know? So,
Right.
Mr. David Murphy, what is your take about this situation?
Well, there's a thing called causes and effects. And sometimes, there's there used to be an old TV show called The Neck of City, and there was 1 million stories in the city. They used to say in the opening of that television show, and it proves true today that there are 1,000 reasons why people have conflicts about this or about that. There's also a lot of reasons why the conditions people live in can make it more accessible to pull triggers or knives and whatever have you, because people, like my brother just said, hurting people hurts people. And because of the conditions of the country, the conditions of Baltimore City, and especially in the Black community, people are hurting each other because people are truly hurting. And one of the reasons is because, from my perspective, it's not just the resources that's not coming into the community. It's not always just the educational system, because we're not being taught proper education, or it's not always the opportunities, because people say, you give people personal opportunity. But, and how can you teach somebody if they don't know themselves, And so when you get there, like I say, it's a lot of question marks. But sometimes, before we come to the end and say solution oriented, sometimes we have to go all the way back down to the root, the real root of the problem. And there's a saying in the Bible: people perish. It's either lack of wisdom or lack of knowledge, or they just say, because people perish because so if you don't know who you are and whose you are, then you're starting off on the wrong foot in the first place. Because if you're not grounded, rooted in God, if you don't know who you are, what your capabilities are, if you feel as though you're hopeless or helpless, then you end up doing hopeless and helpless things that would get you in all types of situations. And so that's why, I see it's a lot of Black men on the call right now, and the last time I think we were talking about being responsible.
Right.
And we are our brother's keepers. And so those who may have some knowledge or some wisdom, we can't sit back. We have to reach out. We have to share, each one teach one. And we have to do it in love and respect. Because like I say, you never know. Any given day, I could be that person, just had a bad day. Just a bad day. And someone would approach me at a certain way. They may approach me in a threatening manner. And they having a bad day as well. And we just have to bump into each other. Either one of us could pull a trigger on each other, just because of that. We both could be just easy going as possible, because like I say, because things weigh heavy on us. That's why I say sometimes, gentlemen, we have to go back to the root. But even now, because wisdom has said, even though I know I have a bad day, it's just a situation, and I choose to say it's a bad day. Because any day, as far as I'm concerned, is a good thing.